What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about me upgrading my PS5 controller. That's right. I love the PS5 controller. I grew up playing Xbox One controllers, so the controllers were a whole lot different from transitioning from that to this. But boy, do I absolutely love this controller. As of late, I've been playing my PS5 consistently thanks to the game Destiny 2. I've noticed my skills in Destiny 2 on controller have been a little lackluster. Thanks to the beautiful people at Extreme Rate, they decided to hit me up, ask me if I had any plans on upgrading any of my console/controllers, and I said yes. I have just the challenge for you to send me some stuff, and they sure delivered. They sent me parts to give me my PS5 controller and turn it from a stock PS5 controller into the ultimate custom PS5 controller. And today's video is just showing you the process and what I had to go through to get my controller from looking like this to like this. Again, I want to shout out Extreme Rate. Thank you guys so much for sending me all this stuff. Everything came out perfect. Everything works properly. If you guys don't know what Extreme Rate is, it's a company that sells shells and custom kits for your various consoles, controllers, and handhelds. These things come in pretty premium quality for it being a third-party shell, and they look beautiful on your Game Boys, your PS5 controllers, your Xbox One controllers. So if you want to customize a controller or console to your colorway preference without spending an arm and a leg through other third-party companies like Colorware and other companies, this is the job for you. It's a DIY, do-it-yourself. They show you how to do it and you get it done and you get the result. It is beautiful. So Extreme Rate asked, what kind of stuff am I looking for my PS5 controller? One is a new shell. So we went with just a front plate because I went with one of their kits for their PS5 controller, but we went with a transparent red front plate shell. I love red. Red's one of my favorite colors besides green. So I was like, I don't know if I want green or red. I went with red. Simple as that. I went red. There are several different shell, transparent colors, and solid colors. So if you're looking for the specific color, they probably do have it. They even have like some gradient shells. So go looking for your favorite color for your shell. So after that, I wanted to add the back panels. Yes, I added back panels to my PS5 controller to give it that scuff feeling without paying an arm and a leg for a scuff controller. I looked at scuff and I wanted just like a black colorway just to not spend so much because the cool colors were way overpriced. Just a solid black one is over $200. No thank you. I will stick to the two controllers I have and let's just use the Extreme Rate kit and save money. Extreme Rate sells two different types of kits for your PS5 controller. You're also going to want to know what model controller you have. Luckily on Extreme Rate's website, they actually have a program where you plug in your PS5 controller and it lets you know what model you have so you know what specific kit you need to buy for your controller. So I went with the Rise Plus Max, which is only two back panels on the back of the controller, but there is a Rise 4 Plus Max, I believe, where it has 4 buttons instead of 2. Personally, I technically only need 2. But if you love having at least 4 buttons on your back, I would suggest you getting the 4 Max Plus kit. It's a few bucks more, but I think you're gonna get your money's worth out of that. Also comes with hair trigger stops for your R2 and L2 buttons. So basically you can turn them off or on to make it a quick press, or turn it off to make it a long down press. It all depends on how you're playing. If you're playing story games, you want to keep it that old analog press down, or if you're playing competitive games like me on Destiny 2, you're going to want to put the hair trigger on. So this was also part of that kit. So you're going to want this. This thing came in clutch. And I know if you are a returning subscriber watching these videos, you know I don't like clicky buttons on my D-pads, on my face buttons. I don't want any clickiness. I don't like it. That has changed just a little bit. Over the few videos I've made of third-party controllers having the mouse clicks, they were slowly growing on me. So Extreme Rate offers a kit to give you clicky mouse buttons on your X, square, triangle, circle, and your D-pad on your controller. I said, why not? Let's try this out. I didn't get custom buttons. I was going to choose custom buttons, but the ones I wanted weren't sold on Extreme Rate. And AliExpress lost my order, which I basically ordered the 30th anniversary stock PlayStation controller buttons with the colors. They lost it and never came back in time, so I just canceled the order and kept the white buttons. But you can totally get any kind of button. Extreme Rate doesn't sell the 30th anniversary kit, but you can use every other color they have. They have red, green, blue, whatever color you want as your buttons. You can totally get those as well to give it the full colorway you exactly want. And that is all I got from Extreme Rate, but Extreme Rate does offer a whole lot more when it comes to actual kits and buttons, so you guys can look around and pick out what you want to make the ultimate personal PS5 controller. Heck, it doesn't even have to be a PS5 controller. You can do the Switch Pro controller, you can do the Xbox One controller. The options are endless, so just go to Extreme Rate's website or on Amazon. Just buy and tell them Jay's World Retro sent you. Okay, before I show you the process that I had to go through with this controller, because I did have hiccups and I did have a couple of stops on the way, I want to make this disclaimer. This isn't a tutorial video on how I made it. This is just showing you the process I had to go through. But Extreme Rate has every single video for every specific kit / shell swap on their YouTube channel and on their website. So I suggest watching those videos first, then coming back to see what mistakes I made and make sure you guys don't make those mistakes if you're following along. So you have been warned. Do not copy what I'm doing, because there are simple mistakes that I made, and I literally almost bricked my own PS5 controller on my own accord. Just a heads up to, if you do open up a controller or console or anything that does break the warranty of your console / controller, so please be advised. And Extreme Rate also lets you know that just be careful and be very patient with these products, because some of these things are very fragile. So just a heads up. First thing first, it's obviously we're going to disassemble the actual shell from the controller, so we got to take out all the screws. And the one thing I didn't know was the actual black part on the controller was super easy to pry out with just like a little pry tool, which that tool does come with your kit from Extreme Rate, so you'll be good on that. And they sometimes come with screwdrivers, so you won't really have to buy screwdriver sets or any type of prying tool. They usually come with their kits, so that is a huge plus. Personally, me, I have my own whole kit, so I just used my personal stuff, and I did use a couple of Extreme Rate stuff just to help out with the brand. After you take out the little black tab from the actual PS5 controller, you're exposing screws, but there's one thing you do have to do beforehand, and that is prying out the L1 and R1 buttons, which felt so wrong to do. It is one of the processes of actually disassembling the PS5 controller. If you see your R1 and L1 flying off the controller, it's kind of normal. It's kind of meant to come off because there are screws underneath those buttons. But don't worry. I was terrified at doing this, but it worked. It's fine. It's okay. After I unscrewed all the screws on the controller, I had to pry out the actual shell from the back plate to the front plate, which was kind of a pain. I've always noticed when it comes to a perfect seal on a console or controller, separating the two shells, the front and back, are one of the hardest things to actually do. On a PS Vita, it is really hard to get that separation from the back plate and the front plate, and that was the same case with the PS5 controller. They give you a little guitar pick. This one's metal, but be warned with this metal pick, it is really sharp. If you press down on it with your thumb, I do cut myself in this video because of it, so please be careful with the metal guitar pick that they give you. Once I got the back plate off, you were exposing the battery and the bracket that holds the battery. All you gotta do is lift up the battery and detach it from the actual motherboard. Just be very cautious. It's not too fragile, but it's a little fragile. Don't yank it out. Just give it a little wiggle and it'll come out easy, and the battery is separated from the actual motherboard. So after we expose the actual motherboard from removing the battery, we have to take out a couple of ribbon cables that are connected to the motherboard, which were a little tiny and they were a little hard for me to pick out with my fingers, because that's what they recommended you using instead of a tweezer. They wanted to use your fingers, so it was a little hard for me to actually get those things out. But once I got them out, I had to find out we had to solder onto the motherboard. Optional. It was an optional thing. Of course, I know how to solder, so I whipped out the solder kit and we got things going. So what the soldering does to this kit for the actual back panels, it lets you program the L3 and R3 buttons, which are the thumbstick buttons. So if you don't want to enable those into your back panels, you don't have to. Those are just optional. But if you don't solder, you cannot program the L3 and R3 to the back panels of the controller. But with this soldering, I did. So we were able to program the L3 and R3 on the back panels of my controller. But it's optional, so don't worry if you don't know how to solder. You're totally fine. So after watching the tutorial on the back panel kit, I was starting to realize that this was only for the back panel kit and not how to shell swap or how to add the mouse clicky button. So I actually had to watch two separate videos on those kits itself. So if you're making the ultimate Xbox controller, Switch controller, or PS5 controller, you're gonna have to do the same. You're gonna have to look up separate tutorials and do them bit by bit. So the next thing I was doing after I soldered the things I needed to solder onto the motherboard, we actually unscrewed the actual motherboard and the trigger away from the actual front shell. But once you remove the front shell from, I guess, the PS5 controller skeleton, you're exposed to the actual buttons, the joystick little gate. You're gonna have to replace everything and put all your new buttons slash membranes onto the new shell. If you're shell swapping, you're gonna have to do all that. Just a simple little put them in the right spot and then put the membranes on. You should be good. But after I transferred everything over to the new shell, I wanted to add the mouse clicky buttons on the actual front of the controller, which wasn't hard at all. You just had to thread a couple of the ribbons through the shell and connected those ones in place of the old ones, and that connected the mouse clicky button. I don't know how to explain it. There's a whole YouTube video on that, so just watch that. It wasn't hard at all. I rate that actual mod itself probably a 5 out of 10 out of hard, like how hard it was. That wasn't hard at all. The thing that was annoying was after shell swapping and putting all the stuff onto the new shell, I wanted to replace the white middle button from the front of the controller, which is like the mouse thing that the controller has. I don't know what it's called, but this thing. It was a pain. I thought this thing was going to be easy, just unscrew and the shell comes off and that's it. No. First things first, my controller was only being held down by one screw. So once I unscrewed it and took it off the shell, I realized the actual plastic was glued to the motherboard. So I needed this. So Extreme Rate tells you to warm that thing up with a heat gun or a blow dryer. I believe a blow dryer, you probably need to have it on the highest heat. I had a heat gun, so it was fine. I had it in the middle and just kept it running until I felt it getting looser and looser from the motherboard. And once I separated it, that was that. The one thing I don't like, and I highly recommend you guys listening to me here, if you're going to use a transparent color, don't. On my controller, you can see the adhesive. This right here is where I cut my thumb. As you can see, I was putting so much pressure on that metal pick that it actually pierced my skin. So do not do what I just did in this clip right here. Just avoid doing this. This part hurt like hell. And it's really annoying. I don't like it at all. I really wish I got a solid color so you will not see the adhesive. Lesson learned. So yeah, do not get a transparent color. It just doesn't look good. You're gonna see the adhesive. If that doesn't bug you, then just get it. It bugs me because it just looks gross. So if it doesn't bug you, it's fine. Don't worry about it. On to the next thing. So after I put the new shell on the motherboard of the center button and screwed it on, Extreme Rate told you to screw it on with 2 screws, but I only saw mine being held down with 1, so I just kept it at 1. That was my mistake. You can't see it here. You can see the 2 screws where there's supposed to be another screw on the other side. There isn't. And if you pry your little nail or something under this while the controller's on, this thing does come off, like slowly. So I don't mess around with the center button, but it does come off. So if yours only came with 1 screw on your controller, but Extreme Rate's telling you to put 2. Trust me, you don't want what I have. You literally can pry your finger off and you can lift it out of the controller. You don't want that. That's a no-no. So after doing all that, we were kind of on the home stretch of finishing my ultimate PS5 controller. We soldered everything we needed to put in. We got the back panel ready to go. We had to put in the custom ribbons for the back panel kit. And here is where my mistake will happen, and you guys will see it, and I'll tell you what happened, what went through. But let's just say we put everything that the kit slash tutorial told you to do. I did everything right. Screwed everything back together. Turned on the back panel kit, and the PS5 controller turned on. We got light in the back panel kit because it's supposed to light up to let you know if you have a specific profile on or whatever. We got all that going. But this wasn't working, and I was testing Spider-Man and Destiny, and this wasn't working for me. So I was like, did I destroy this while using the heat gun? Or did I destroy it while trying to pry it away from its old shell? I was going over a million problems that I could have done. I kept on opening the controller, closing it. Maybe I didn't put in the ribbon right. So I was like, I broke this. This is broken. I fully disassembled the controller one more time. So as I disassembled everything, I saw what my problem was. I didn't destroy the motherboard. I didn't destroy the ribbon. There was a ribbon I did not put into the motherboard, and that was the actual button to the motherboard. So this ribbon is supposed to go into the front of the motherboard, which is never exposed because of the skeleton, like the black skeleton that's holding everything together. It's there. I pulled it out. I remember pulling it out. I just didn't put it back in, and that was what my problem was. After I got that done, I did notice another problem we had besides this not working. But once we put that in, this thing started working. No problems. The next thing I had a problem with was the hair triggers. They weren't working for me. I was trying Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It wasn't working. I don't know why, but there is options. If this doesn't work for you, first try. You put on the actual tabs. Stream Rate has your back. Trust me. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know how you could fix the problem. But you get like these like rubber tabs that you put on top of the stoppers that make this thing stop. You put them there so it actuates the button press. I don't know how it works. There's a whole science to it. I just copied what they did. If it wasn't working for me the first time, I put those on, and instead of let it wait for a couple of hours, I was like, let it wait. And that's what I did. I let it wait for a couple of hours. I hopped on PS5, hopped on Spider-Man, hopped on Destiny 2, and the hair trigger was working like a charm. It's honestly really good to have. I actually keep it on the hair trigger stop mode more than I have it on the analog press. I just think it's better. It feels right. Even on like Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man depends on you pressing it all the way down, I don't know. It just feels right in the hands. It feels good on the fingers. Trust me. You're going to keep on messing around with the triggers. That's all I do when I'm playing Destiny. I'm not doing anything. I am just spamming the L2 and R2. Just spamming this thing. And the last thing was actually just setting up my profiles for my back panels. There's the whole YouTube video at the end shows you how to customize your profiles for your back panels. So just watch Extreme Rate's video. I'm telling you, I will link it down below so you guys can watch that, how it works. But all I did was use these two buttons for my slide and jump in Destiny 2. If you guys know Destiny, sliding and jumping are kind of key when it comes to playing online. So that's what I did, and I've been having such a great time with the controller. It's honestly one of my favorite controllers, but I do have a new controller that's slowly taking the reins, and I'm making a whole separate YouTube video on that, so stay tuned for that. But that's got to wrap it up for today's video. I want to thank you guys so much, and thanks to Extreme Rate for sending me all this stuff to make my personal ultimate custom PS5 controller. That is a mouthful, but yes, if you guys want to make your own custom PS5 or Xbox One controller, you guys definitely can for a cheaper price. Thanks to the beautiful people at Extreme Rate. So go ahead and check out their products on their website, on Amazon, even on AliExpress. A lot of their stuff is everywhere. So just go and grab. I'll see you guys in the next videos. We do have another controller review coming on the way. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.